Including you, Mark. Okay. All right, guys, now we're really going to get started. So thanks for being here. We're going to get started. We have a really lot of information to cover today, and I'm super excited. I'm always happy when we cover the Desert Housing Report. So we're going to get started though with, let's come here, and thank you to Karen McMenemy for bringing breakfast this morning. So
now everybody has to eat that breakfast now, okay? Because there's a lot of food back there, I see. And very few people eat. Oh, the microphone. Hello, Zoomers. Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to check in with you guys and make sure, just a couple of quick reminders. First off, our AC tune-up, our preseason tune-up just ended. So a lot of people use that this year. It will be back next March. It runs from March through May. And then our furnace tune-ups will start in September and go through November. So keep that in mind, especially if you have us on your own house. You know, it really just helps kind of get in front of the problem, you know, before that 120 degrees hits. We're going to be hitting like 115 this week. So summer has arrived. It's already 90 degrees at 9 a.m. It was 89 at 8:30. So I looked. But in any case, just want to remind you guys of that. And then also don't forget your buyers now with the new plans that started on April 1st. If you order the home warranty after April 1st, your buyers get a free rekey with that if you order the Shield Complete plan. So the rekey service fee is waived if they order that Shield Complete, and they can get that done at no charge. So make sure you let your buyers know that so they can use that as soon as they close escrow, because we should all be rekeying houses, especially out here in the desert. We have a lot of vacation rentals. We have a lot of people with keys floating around. We have caretakers that take care of the house when people are gone. We have housekeepers, you know, construction people, contractors, you name it. So tenants, just make sure that you guys are using that service. You know, it's something that's been very successful, and that's why we wanted to provide that free service for you guys to upgrade a plan. And then also, I want you guys to make sure you're familiarizing yourself with our new pricing. The new pricing, people are struggling with that. They're putting the wrong amount in the purchase agreement and they're getting stuck with that bill. You guys work very hard. We don't want you guys to get stuck to underbid the home warranty and the RPA. So please text me if you're writing an offer and you're not sure. Text me for the pricing. The pricing is also in the back in the cubby with our brochures. So all the pricing is pretty clear on there. But if you have questions, please call me, text me, email me. I'm very responsive on that, even on the weekends, you guys. So I want to make sure that you guys are getting that right price in there. So anything else, just reach out to me, let me know. I'm very available. It's AC season. I'm more available than normal.
awesome.
So I appreciate you guys and thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions for Karen? Okay, then we are going to move to the wonderful Darlene and Brian.
Do I need a microphone?
Well, yeah, so they can hear you. Otherwise, they can't.
Good morning, everyone. Aloha.
Hello.
I'm back from beautiful Hawaii, and Brian and I want to thank all of you for reaching out. We're getting orders. Brian's been training almost every day. I love it. You folks are farming. You guys rock with farming. And how do you get your listing appointments? You have to prospect. So that's our goal. Prospect equals business. So just a little reminder on those. How many of you are reading your listing prelims that we send you at no charge? Yay. What happens when you have problems on the day of recording? If we don't attack those issues on Schedule B right away, then we have an issue the day of recording. For example, we had one, line of credit. Darlene, I paid off my line of credit 2 years ago, and you guys aren't going to close. Did you close your line of credit? What happens if they don't close their line of credit? They can go the day of recording. Brian can be at the recorder's office, and they can go to the bank and go, hey, don't tell anyone. $1,000 line of credit. Who gets stuck with it? Orange Coast Title. So make sure when you look at the prelim, you see an open line of credit, say, hey, did you close out your, well, no, I paid it off. That's good enough. It's not good enough for title. We need to have a closed letter from the financial institution that it is closed. These are some of the problems that happen the day of recording. And they're like, why didn't you tell us? I'm telling you now, make sure those are closed. Make sure those LLCs are of good standing. Make sure you check with all of us and our TOs, if there's an item that you're questioning and your seller's lying. I don't know the IRS any money. Oh, yes, you do. So a lot of times they try to escape some of their issues, but they will be found out on that Schedule B. So thank you, everyone, for specifying Orange Coast on that transaction. I'm back. Have a wonderful day.
Brian, do you want to say anything?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say thank you. I know you're getting all the agents, their farms, the emails, all that good stuff. The prelims guys are super important. Please read them because they do point out potential issues and issues that may not even apply to the transaction, but the statement of information will clarify it. So it's really important you read those when you get them. And as soon as you order the property profile, you're going to get a prelim too, if that's what you want to do. And so, hi, Stacy, yeah, you're here. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. And Stacy, let's hear.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Just wanted to let you know that it's official. So our name as of July 1st will be Pickford Escrow. So if you guys want to start writing that in, if you have offers coming down the line. And then we will be doing an escrow workshop on the 15th at 11. So if you guys have any questions for me, I'll be here. Yvonne will be here. And we'd love to see you. And thanks again for all the business. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate how hard you're working over there. Okay, Prosperity Mortgage, thank you guys. For those of you who are throwing out loan apps to Prosperity, we really appreciate it. You know, John Eric and his team, Winston, are fantastic. And so I know you all have your own lenders that you've been working with and you have relationships with, and I totally respect that. But maybe, you know, if you just throw them one and try them out, you know, that's a really nice thing. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Want to say happy birthday, our June birthdays. We have Kathy, Alonzo, Kana, Sandy, Marianne, Gabby, Bob, Mimi, Katie McLaren, Meredith, Raul, and Mickey Mesa. So happy birthday to our June babies. And then our Berkshire anniversary. So we're really excited you're with us. There's a lot of them. Look at this in June. Mimi and David and Michael and Sonia, Richard and Robin, Kelly, Sean, Abraham, Sandy, Eric, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read all these names. But I just do want to say thank you for being here. You guys matter to me. You matter to the company. And I know you have choices, so thanks for making Berkshire your choice. I really do appreciate you. Don't forget the listing contest. Keep sending me your points, your activities, and we will have one more month. Just this is the last month of the contest. So I'm super excited. I hope somebody from this office wins Cabo. I just think that would be awesome. If not, you know, maybe a computer or iPad or something fun like that, but get your points into me because you might win. Congratulations, starting out the month with some listings, and look at little Josie Thomas. So congratulations, Josie, Laura, and actually this is the Oasis team. So Jeff and Ray, congratulations to you. And then open escrows, we have Victor, the Marks Group, Brian Beard, Maria Molina, Ann, Mike, George Lopez team, Larry Malistic, and again, Desert Homes by Jeff and Ray. So congratulations on your open escrows. And now, we know the market is changing somewhat, right? And I'm really happy that Mark's going to be taking care of our desert housing report. I will take care of the clicking, and thank you, Mark Wasserman.
My clicker. Okay, so a couple of questions this morning, themes. The main question is, are we in a shift? Are we starting to see the market shift, or is it just a seasonal change in the market? So couple quotes. My two favorite quotes is one from Gary Keller. Sorry.
It's okay.
Shift happens, right? And the other is one of my favorite Shakira songs, Numbers Don't Lie, right? So I want to read, if you haven't read, oh, that was a good catch. If you haven't read the book Shift by Gary Keller, you need to read it like today. because it was written in 2009, but many of the things he talked about back in 2009, we are starting to see today. So I want to take a moment and read a couple of excerpts from the book. So he talks a little bit about a shift. So several factors can cause an economic shift. Currency exchange rates and political climate are the primary global factors. Are we seeing global factors right now?
Yeah.
Couple.
Thank you, Sean.
Yes.
You get an A.
My first day. My first day.
Put a gold star in his name. On a national level, it's interest rates and inflation. Are we seeing interest rates rise and are we seeing inflation rise?
Yeah.
Thank you for shaking your head. Welcome to New Orleans.
Silver star.
Maybe bronze. Population, jobs, and household income take center stage at the city level. And at the most local level, it's neighborhood dynamics and housing prices. All of this simply boils down to buyer demand, which is driven by affordability and perception. How many buyers can afford to buy and how many think it's a good time to buy? Sound familiar? So are shifts bad? Well, it depends. For the real estate industry in a particular market, it certainly can be. The available income for everyone in the market, that market has dropped. For a single individual in their market, it doesn't have to be. There is still enough available income for them to achieve their goals. The challenge for individual agents, listen carefully, is fear and how you will respond to it. So he talks, it's a great book. I've been listening to it as I walk every morning, and a lot of what he talks about is happening today. So we're seeing political factors, we're seeing inflation, we're seeing rising interest rates. There are some good things though, right? Unemployment is still extremely low, okay? Somebody wants a job, they can still find a job. And people still have disposable income. We had all the income that the government handed out, a year ago or so. People are working, unemployment's very low. So there are some good factors. So the question is, are we in a shift? Is the market shifting? Or is it more of a seasonality issue that we always have here in the desert? So let's dig into the report. I want to take a little different tack this time. There are some sentences in here that I think are really, really telling. And you have to sort of read the fine print, right? The Desert Housing Report is great because they give us factual data, and it is a bit of a lagging indicator, right? So it's usually 3 months back or 12 months back. So we're looking at the past and we're trying to predict the future of where we're going to go. And I'm going to read to you a few sentences that stood out to me in here about what's coming or what may be happening in the future. Okay, so the first slide is always the detached home price, right? So single family homes. So home prices continued higher in May. The value was up 700,000, which is up to 700,000, which is 30,000 more than we were last month. So 20.7% year over year. Starting next month, this is what you have to pay attention to. Seasonal factors should begin to slow price gains, but the forces that have been driving prices higher, low inventory and high demand, continue to dominate the market. Okay, so we're still seeing prices go up. They're saying, keep an eye on the seasonality. Are we going to start to see these prices drop? I think the answer is yes, we are going to see those. And if you're paying attention to the MLS every day and you're looking at price changes, you see that there are 30, 35, 37 price changes every day, and they're not up arrows, they're down arrows, where a year ago you were seeing 15, 20, and there was a lot of up arrows, right? So you have to pay attention to what's going on in the market. And if you're not looking at that MLS every day, listings that are coming on, listings that are pending, so on and so forth, I think one of the most important statistics is that one, is to look at the price changes and see what's happening a lot. There's like 35 almost a day on average. We're seeing price changes, a lot in the millions. And these are, what I like to look at too is the agent who's dropping the price, right? It's a lot of seasoned agents who know how to price properties that are beginning to start to drop those prices. So it's something for us to really keep an eye on. So when we look at the attached price, the condos, right? In May, it was 491,556. Which is up 36.8%. Again, seasonal factors and inventory rising, things should slow down. Prices should peak sometime next month and then settle back in the condo market, okay? So it's very important when you look at this to read the comments that they make at the bottom, okay? Let's go to the 12-month change. Here again, prices compared to a year ago are still at all-time price lows, which the all-time lows were in 2011, 2012, which we always talk about, right? Year-over-year gains in the detached homes range from 39.2% Palm Springs to 22.8% in Cathedral City. Okay, and then again, these are condos down here, and all you see is green. Whereas if you looked at this 3, 4, 5 years ago, it was a lot of red, right? So now it's all green. Every single city in both the attached and detached homes has seen price gains both year over year and from the low in 2011. So let's look next at the monthly sales, and this is a 3-month trailing average, okay? And this is incredibly telling of where we've been and where we are going, okay? So if you look at the peak, which was about May of 2021, so a year ago, we had 1,298 combined homes sold in the valley. That's both single family and condos. In May of 2022, we had 1,034. So the blue line is single family. So that was 865 last year at this time. This year, 712. Condos last year, 433. This year, 321. So we're down 20%, as they say, over the last 3 months. Total sales average 1,034 units a month, which is 20% less than last year, but still near the pre-pandemic averages of 17, 18, and 19. And again, historically, we're at about 1,000 a month, right? On a 3-month average, just looking at the last 5 or 6 years, 995, that's always consistent. So the good news is that even though we're seeing, buyers who are saying, maybe it's time for me to step back and watch, we're still seeing a lot of homes being sold. And historically, that's always been the case. So don't be discouraged. I call it the great wait, right? A lot of our buyers are saying, we're going to wait. I just had an escrow canceled the other day, $1.4 million, and we did a home inspection. It was kind of a mess. She decided to cancel, but then she said, I'm glad I did because I'm going to wait. And I'm sure anyone who's dealing with buyers is hearing that. So the question to the buyers is how long you're going to wait and what's going to happen. And that's why these are so important. On the flip side, right, when you're dealing with sellers, we've got to be realistic. We've got to make sure we know the numbers, that we can talk intelligently about what's happening and explain, look, we're starting to see the market shift, okay? And let me explain to you what's going on. Right? Any questions on that? Okay, so let's look at the 12-month average. And again, this takes out seasonality, kind of the same picture. The 12-month average of sales shows total sales in May averaged 918 units a month, 17% below last year. Sales of detached homes down 16%, and attached homes are off 18%. This is another sentence that you really need to pay attention to. We continue to expect long-term sales to move down over the next 12 months to pre-pandemic average of 800 units a month. So again, when you're talking to sellers and they're saying, why aren't I getting, $200,000 over asking? It's because the market has begun to slow down. And you've got to be realistic with your sellers or you're going to cause all of us a lot of problems, right? So we've got to get real with our sellers. We got to walk in with this report and we have to know it backwards and forwards. So let's look at home sales by city. So we continue to find that the largest decline in sales are in the 4 major resort cities, okay? La Quinta and Palm Desert. Sales in La Quinta are off 38%, Palm Desert off 26%. Any idea why that is? Sean, thank you for volunteering. Why would Palm Desert, La Quinta, the resort cities, be off and some of the other cities not so much? What do you
Might have something to do with short-term rentals.
explain that?
Well, they've kind of stopped short-term rentals.
Yeah.
I know up in La Quinta area. Yeah. And I'm not sure about Palm Springs, but most people coming out to these resort areas want to buy a place for the short-term rental to cash in on that.
Good. Lisa, thank you for volunteering. Any other thoughts as to why we're seeing the resort cities a little bit slower than some of the others?
The majority of the visitors from out of, like our snowbirds.
Right.
They've gone home.
Okay, that's good.
So I would think that the majority of those people have gone.
Okay,
But I'm hearing a lot of hesitancy.
why?
And because, the bottom's gonna fall out, the bubble.
Mhm.
So,
Gina, what do we say to people when
yeah,
they say it's a bubble, the bottom's gonna fall out? And
Yeah,
in your wisdom, what do we say? Because we're hearing that a lot, right? Everybody's hearing it.
And I ask why they think that, number one,
Yeah.
and then I explain about inventory. We explain about, it's gonna take a few months
and
or
all
longer
areas.
for it to
No.
even hit a neutral market. We've got a lot of catching up to do
Yeah.
because I think we're barely at a month's supply of
Right.
inventory right now.
And that's gonna be our saving grace is the lack of inventory. So, yeah, I think we're gonna see more of a balanced market where there's gonna be discounts, like we're seeing discounts being taken, days on market lasting longer. But just, yeah.
Okay, you said a
exactly
balanced
right.
market. How do we define a balanced market?
Back before the pre-pandemic of more, not so much a seller's market, but you can actually
Right.
negotiate.
Right.
A buyer can actually come in and negotiate a price or even get concessions.
Right.
Towards their sale.
And so traditionally, and Gina, correct me if I'm wrong, a seller's market is anything where inventory is under 6 months, 3 months, 3 months, okay. Under 3 months. A balanced market is where it's 3 to 5 or 3 to 6.
Yeah.
And then a buyer's market is anything above 6, right? So you've
Correct.
got, and according to Gary Keller and the Shift book, those balanced markets don't last very long. So we go from a strong, we've never seen a seller's market like this, right? The question is, are we transitioning now to a buyer's market? I don't know. None of us really know. We can't predict. We're starting to see some signs that is happening, right? And then, so if we get into a more balanced market where there's 3 to 5 months of inventory, and then are we going to move to that? So great points. I think the other thing is too, for me, what I would say is, look, there's been so much cash in the market. Back in, 6 and 7, I mean, we had people I live in Starlight Dunes in La Quinta. I mean, we had people that had, that like their house was worth $200,000. They had $900,000 worth of loans with a fifth wheel and a boat and, a beach house. I mean, that they use their house to finance. You don't have that anymore. You don't have lenders who are making those types of loans. So it's a lot of cash. People do have equity, and we'll have to see. So good.
And just so you guys know, in our office alone, we're about 63 to 67% on average cash every single month.
Yeah.
So, there is, and I was reading this not too long ago, there is more equity right now in the United States than there's ever been in the history of mortgages.
Yeah.
The amount of equity is just enormous. So that's another reason. I mean, my gosh, even if the market adjusts and prices do drop, these people are not upside down, unlike the market of 2008, where Mark was absolutely right. People were using their home as an ATM because, zero, whatever, interest only, ridiculous loans.
The subprime.
So the
Oh, yeah.
subprime market was crazy.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
So this is not that market. This market, we have strong equity. We have a lot of cash buyers. So no matter what happens, I mean, if I'm in default on my property, would it not behoove me to sell it versus letting it go into foreclosure if I have equity? And the answer is, of course it is. So that's why, and the average distressed market is about 6% of the inventory. That's just a regular average market. Right now, we're less than 1% distressed properties. So even if multiple properties start hitting the market in foreclosures, we have a long way to go before it even hits the normal average, if that makes sense. So we are in a really good position still. It's just adjusting into what I call a more normal or healthier market.
And I track NODs. I look at them every day, and I market to those. They're very, very low. Notice of default, maybe 6, 7 a week, 8 a week. Back in 2011, it was 400. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, And some of those are HOA liens, which usually get cleaned up, so, yeah, I think it's a much healthier housing market. I mean,
So during your
I'm sorry, let me rephrase. It's a much more healthier person who bought the house than the market. Go ahead.
we're anticipating this recession approaching us, whether it could be at the end of the year, it could be sooner, who knows, right? But they say statistically,
Statistically, right?
I can't
gotcha.
say that word. Interest rates fall.
Yeah.
So if people see that again, we might have a little bit of a spike. Who knows?
Recessions
So
are
it's
not always bad. They're
Yeah.
not typically not bad for housing
And
markets.
that's what I'm hearing from people that really don't.
Yeah. Yeah, so,
And the Fed has indicated that they prefer a recession at this point
right.
to
Slow
knock
things
down inflation.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Okay, let's go to home sales by price range. Overall, again, sales are down 20%, but that decline is not evenly distributed by price. Okay, the vast majority is in homes priced under $500,000, which there's not a lot of inventory, right? Most of this is due to homes being in the higher price brackets. Sales of homes in the 600 to 900,000 price brackets are higher simply because there's so many. They're high because I'm going back to like third grade where I was like, oh God, I can't read. Sales of homes in the $600,000 to $900,000 price brackets are higher simply because there are so many more homes currently in those price brackets. And Gina and I were talking, this still remains hot. I have a listing at 3 million in La Quinta. I had like 60 people through an open house last week.
Oh, wow.
There was a lot
I
of
was-
lot of buyers. There's still a lot of people. Now that wasn't reflected necessarily in the amount of offers, which I think we're seeing there's still a lot of people out there, although at least anecdotally from my perspective, we're not seeing as many offers as we did before, but we're still getting them. So let's go to the big one, the big board. This is the one we always look at, right? Drum roll, please. I'm having a rough time. Drum roll, please. Valley housing inventory. Okay, so it ticked up to 1,179 from 681. I'm not a mathematician, but that's almost 50%, right? So Valley inventory was 1,179 units, which is 498 units more than last year. As the graph clearly shows, this is the first meaningful increase in inventory in 3 years. What is particularly significant is that it's occurring during the seasonal period when inventory normally contracts. We believe it is very important to watch these levels over the next 4 months. If inventory can maintain the current numbers as we move into summer, we will be positioned to see even higher numbers as we move towards winter. So they give us a lot of good information. It's really important to read the narratives with these charts because I think they're absolutely right. I mean, we have been seeing this just bounce along the bottom here at like 600-700 for the last, year or so. But again, I mean, you go back to, 2017, we're at 4,000, 18, 3,000. I mean, those were the days, right? I mean, it's like you could actually, make offers be underneath ask. So again, I think this is something that we should all be paying close attention to. If you're working with sellers, you need to make sure they understand that inventory is beginning to rise and that they need to start looking at potentially selling their properties if they've been on the fence. Now, the question is, did they miss the peak? Did they miss the boat? Remains to be seen. My guess is more than likely.
And just look at that. You'll see 4,000, 3,000, 3,000. You guys, that's just an average, normal, healthy market right there. Does anybody remember what the inventory was before the crash of 2008? Remember that?
No.
It was at about 12,000 homes.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was huge. So right now people, oh my gosh, all these houses are going on the market, nothing's selling. Oh my gosh, we have so far.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another reason why we don't see the bottom falling out. We have a lot of inventory to catch up with before
Like
that
6
even
years
can
worth.
be.
5 to 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a huge amount. So that's the difference between then and now as well.
Yeah. And to that point, I think now's the time to really look for opportunities. So what are some opportunities on the buyer side with looking at this? Anybody? What are some opportunities on the buyer side with inventory almost doubling in a month. Alexa, thank you so much for volunteering to answer that question.
It's like, what?
What are some, what we talked about, right? What are some opportunities? What should we be doing with our buyers as we see inventory begin to tick up?
Yeah, well then, let me know.
Yes.
It's my daughter, I like to. Yeah, I think it's an excellent opportunity right now. If you have buyers that have been on the fence, to call them and say, hey, I'm seeing 35 price reductions almost every day. Inventory is up 480 units. Now's the time to look. And I hear it all the time it's just a great wait, gonna wait. And particularly in higher income, with higher income people, there's a lot of factors. The stock market's been taking a hit. Again, interest rates are high. I had a lot of cash buyers who they would buy the house and then 2 months later refi and take the cash out and put it back in their 401k. That's not going to happen as much because interest rates were higher. When it was 2.7%, it was a different deal, right? So again, I think it's a really good opportunity, one, to talk to your buyers and say, hey, we're starting to see inventory rise. Some other question.
Yeah, what if the seller says inventory is super low in the country club they're living in, so why would I reduce the price? How do you answer that?
So if the seller says inventory.
Sorry about
She is a
that.
magician. She take it away. Wow. Sorry. Gina, what if the seller says inventory is super low in the country club they're living in, so why would I reduce the price? How do you answer that? And I got an answer. What? Please. No answer? Who has an answer? So the inventory in my country club is really low. So why would I reduce the price? What would you say? Can you hear us? Here.
Because people have the choice to go to any country club
Right.
they want.
Right.
So they can go find another property that is in another country club that's lower.
Right.
So
What
you
else?
have to stay competitive.
Right.
The market's
Good.
not represented by your gated
Right.
community, it's represented by the community.
The overall
community
market.
in general,
Right,
yeah, the market.
So, and what I would do is I'd go back to the inventory of condos and, attached homes and say, look, there's, 321 sold last month, 282 on a 12-month average. Homes are still selling in the condo market. Just because this particular country club may have low inventory doesn't mean that there's other choices. I mean, let's face it, anytime we show condos, right, we're showing Monterey Country Club, we're showing, Palm Valley, we're showing, there's other similar properties. It doesn't mean, that just that one country club that do. Yeah.
It's like the stock market or anything, the
Exactly.
housing market, it has ebbs and flows. Perfect example, a month ago, Palm Desert Country Club, I think, had 16 or 17 houses. Today, there's 3 available in Palm Desert Country Club.
Right.
It ebbs and flows.
Right.
So just because you don't have a lot for sale in your country club today doesn't mean there's not going to be 6 listings next month.
Right. Does that help? Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah, and not only that, just keep in mind, and that one, I think what this question is referring to is a condo complex that does allow for short-term rentals.
It does allow.
This one does. If it's the one, I think it is. Palm Valley, and I'm sure that's what Linda's asking about, but Palm Valley, Desert Falls, they still allow short-term rentals, right? So just always remember though, time on market is a function of price. And if it's not selling, the market is telling us something. And so we need to have a conversation with the sellers, but just remember there's 5 things, and I always say this, to sell a property, it hits the sweet spot. Number 1, what do they always say in real estate? Location, 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 right? Right. Second thing is condition. What is the condition of the property? The third is price and terms, and the price and terms will always reflect back the condition and location, right? The next is the marketing plan. What are you doing to promote that? Where is it going? Is it out in every potential place you could possibly market a property? And then the 5th thing is the listing agent. Is that listing agent, does that person work and play well with others, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a big one.
we might laugh about it, but guys, be professional out there. There's been some pretty nasty agents out there over the last year. Don't be one of those. Keep it professional. Return your phone calls. Be grateful for when you get an offer, even if it stinks. just be happy that you got an offer. Somebody is like that home enough to actually move forward with it. So, there's some things that you just look at and see, or all these 5 things in place. If one of them's out of whack, and usually if everything else is, it's price that is dictating what's going on, but just have that conversation with the seller. Some sellers say, good, I don't care if it's on the market 6 months. And then the answer is, well, that's a good thing, because it will be, right? Or it could be. And then, it's just a heart to heart with your seller about what their goals are. Find out where they're going, what they're doing, why are they selling it? And that'll help solve the problems to the getting it priced correctly and answering what the market's actually saying.
To your point with the other agents, one of the most interesting indicators of the shift in the market or the change in the market is Alexa's been showing a lot of property, and lo and behold, agents are calling her after the showing, asking how it went. Are you going to present an offer?
Oh, now they're not.
How soon will you? Wow, it's like, whoa, it was kind of quiet the last year and a half, right? I mean, you didn't have to do that. You just showed up and you get 10 offers, and so definitely things are shifting. There's no question about it. Okay, good. So we're good there. So let's go to a month of sales ratio, and then we'll get this wrapped up here. Okay, this obviously ticked up on June 1st. The month of sales ratio for the Valley was 1.3 months, up 0.7 months from a year ago. Like inventory, this is the highest ratio in over 16 months. Highest ratio in over 16 months, but we are still far below normal ratios of 3 or 4 months. Like inventory, seasonal factors should keep this ratio from rising any higher until next winter. That's going to be interesting to see, since this ratio shows the balance of supply and demand. It will be very important to follow this over the next year and a half. So I think that's a good one to keep an eye on in addition to inventory. Months of sales by price range, again, ticking up a little bit, 2.4, June 1st, last year we're at 1.4. This is interesting. So, I mean, you're definitely starting to see homes staying on the market a little bit longer. Again, the question we have to ask ourselves, is it a shift? Is it just an indication of the summer months? We're going to have to wait and see. And that's why it's so important every month to look at this, read it, study it, talk about it. And
what's your opinion on my assumption on the market? Part of the almost a feeding frenzy, if you will, is during the pandemic, nobody was buying.
Right.
So you had this buyer pool that kept getting bigger and bigger and kept holding off. Then all of a sudden, everybody started buying at the same time. So you had a year's worth of people that held off buying, all and it created almost a feeding frenzy.
Oh yeah.
And I think all those buyers have since bought, or prices went up and they're priced out of the market now.
Or they were financed when they didn't get their offer accepted, and those are the buyers now you're going to pick up the phone and say, now's the good time.
But I mean, do you think that's part of why we saw that kind of feeding frenzy?
Sure. Oh, there's no doubt.
Because so many people held off for so long.
March, April, May of 20, whatever year it was, I can't remember, but everything just stopped. I mean, I remember just going, whoa, what's going to happen? And then absolutely, then all of a sudden it just took off like a rocket. But I'll say this, I still have a lot of buyers. We still have a lot of buyers that are still looking, they're in my database and they're looking at properties online and still answering questions. When we call them, they're not hanging up the phone. I think they're just waiting to see I think buyers smell blood in the water. And I think a lot of them, especially those cash buyers, are going to hold off. I mean, let's face it. Those folks are a very savvy home buyer. Not that the other ones aren't. I'm talking about in the the higher price range where they're truly paying cash, not FHA or VA. Those folks, and they're also affected more by what's happening in the stock market, right? And spinning up and down and that type of thing.
And that buyer's usually a want, not a need buyer.
Right. Exactly. I mean, what is it? Still 50% of our market is still second home and investor properties. So yeah, those people can wait. I think where just one of the charts talks about. The inventory in Desert Hot Springs, Cathedral City, the more blue collar communities, those are still selling fairly quickly. So there's another opportunity if you are looking to work with sellers is to concentrate on those areas because those homes are still turning over pretty quickly. Palm Desert, La Quinta, the more resort are starting to slow a little bit. Okay.
Although short-term rental and the opportunities in India.
Yeah.
I still see investors.
Yeah. I mean, look at
wanting
Terra-Lama.
to
I mean,
Oh,
it's
geez,
great.
that
So,
place
and
is
I know
Terra-Lama.
it's from out of our area.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I did have a homeowner sold their house 1.6, and they said they're gonna rent,
Yeah,
not from our area, that's
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Temecula.
somewhere else.
They're gonna rent, they're gonna wait because their realtor told them
Mhm.
that it was at the high point and that the prices were gonna go down, so.
Yeah, I mean, those are tough to combat. I mean, I think all of us are feeling
Because
the
we're
shift.
seeing a little bit. so
Definitely, there's
was
no
it
doubt,
true?
there's no doubt. I mean,
their house is still in escrow as we stand.
Yeah. I think again, in the lower priced, no. Lower price 3, 4, 5, it's still fairly competitive. Definitely there's a shift in the higher price market. There's no question. And it's
And-
starting to slow. I mean, this house in Rancho La Quinta was listed at 159. They dropped it to 149. They accepted an offer at 1.4. So that's a pretty big price drop. But again, is that still competitive? Is that 1.4 still the right price? One just sold down the street. It was the exact model map. So yeah, I think, I mean, I personally, I think we're definitely seeing a shift. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, we can try to say, no, we're not, but yeah, there's no doubt. Again, is it seasonal? Is it temporary?
It's
To
know your
your point,
audience.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's look at the last one, which is days in the market. Days in the market, so about the same, days in the market. We expect to see this metric stop declining and remain around 20 to 25 days. So that's pretty much it. Again, I think it's really, so let's talk about the price discount, because again, we're still seeing homes, sold above price, above ask. 58.3% of the homes in May sold above list price. That used to be, they used to call it sales discount from price. They just ditched that chart because there's really no such thing. But this will be interesting to watch as well, to see if these, I guarantee you these are coming down. I've already seen it, they're coming down. And now where it's gonna stop, nobody knows, right? But again, I think it's important to, make sure you know your numbers, make sure you take this report in with you with both buyers and sellers. Make sure you know these numbers, and sit down with Gina when you're getting ready to make a buyer or a listing presentation, walk through and talk through these things, because I think these kinds of questions and discussions are critically important. We have to be, to your point, we have to be the pros, and we got to know what's going on in the market. And a lot of it is obviously we're just trying to predict what's going to happen, which is very difficult. But I've been saying here for a few months now that we're going to, and listen, this has been a tremendous run. It can't last forever, right? I mean, nothing lasts forever.
Well,
But
Mark
the earth
Stark
and
says
sky.
it best right now. He says, if anybody goes into a listing appointment and says it's about price, they don't know the market today. It's a process.
Yeah.
Today, it's just a process because nobody knows what's going on with the prices. Nobody knows what, we're just shifting. We don't know where it's going to end up or whatnot, but it's a process. So you may start with the price in mind, but understand that might have to be adjusted, because if you're not getting any activity, that is the market telling you there's an adjustment necessary. So have that honest conversation. And if they come back and say, well, this agent over here says they can get me this price, God bless them. Again, right now, this market is so changing that anybody who says, I will do this, maybe I would never stick my neck out like that in today's market. I would say, we're going to look at it. We're going to see what's happening. If there's no activity, we're going to make some adjustments, but you don't want to. Buy side report, guys, there's that one page that shows how many buyers are in each price range for that particular property. And it's really amazing. I was looking at one the other day where at one price point, there were probably 1,600 buyers, for example. But if you would have gone down instead of, I think it was over 8, but if you went down to 799, that buyer pool expanded by about 100,000 buyers. So in pricing, as you take that sheet and you're showing them, look, if you want to price it a little higher, here's your buyer pool for that. But if you come down right here, look at what you just expanded. Now are you going to get the highest price, right? Because you've reached out to this many more buyers. So you can use those charts. You can use these reports to your benefit when you're talking in a listing presentation, and let the numbers talk for you. You don't have to be there to be like, I know all. We don't know all. We're all figuring this out.
And it's going to be very challenging from a listing standpoint going forward, because you're going to have sellers that say, well, wait a minute, my neighbor got, $800,000 6 months ago. why are you telling me I'm only gonna get $7.95 or
Mhm.
whatever? I mean, so you have to be able to back that up with current data, with facts, not with just I hope and pray, because that ain't gonna get it done.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
This is Jay Wagman. If you remember from our
Hi,
days
Jay.
at Keller Williams, that Heath used to do this great chart, and it hasn't applied in the last couple of years, but it showed that if you priced it right the first time versus a price reduction, you'll wind up ultimately getting more money than having to price it. So I think it's a good chart to start thinking back when we talk to the sellers about listing, to price it right the first time, so they don't have to do a price reduction. So, and they'll wind up getting more money, and they could wind up going above. So,
It's funny you mentioned that, Jay. Just a quick story. I went on a listing appointment at Terra-Lago a few months ago. There was a model match that sold at like $985, I think it was. Yeah, $985, and the seller was adamant they wanted 1.2. I said, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not for you. Well, an agent took it, listed it at 1.150. I think they started it out. Long story short, they ended up selling at $985 after several price reductions. So to your point, you're going to have to make those decisions. For me, it's about quality of life, and I just don't want to have to to just keep reducing. I'd rather go in with a more reasonable price that I think is the right price. But that's not to say it's you can't do that. But Lance said something too, and I think it's really important, is that we all run into issues, and we work with all kinds of agents. I think it's really important for us not to not to talk ill of our fellow agents. I totally agree with that. We just have, to your point, we just need to be the professionals at all times. Thanks for bringing that up. That's absolutely correct.
Absolutely.
And I think you can do that by knowing your numbers and demonstrating your knowledge of what's going on in the market and your predictive, your ability to possibly predict. We can't predict the future, but you could say, look, this is where I think we're going. You're allowed to give me your opinion.
Mhm.
I think. Still are,
Well, based on some
based
facts.
on facts.
Facts.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Any questions for Mark?
Good job.
Or Gina, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Interesting market. I do recommend you take your desert housing report, print it out, keep it, maybe email it to your VAC database saying, here's what's going on in the market today. It's another touch point, sets you above your competition. So definitely do that. A couple of reminders here, and we only have a couple more minutes, so we won't be long on this. Open houses, as we're standing there, just think about a couple of things. Number one, when you're going to be holding an open house, just remember, learn about the property.
It's gone for 3 years. Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Learn about the property, and not this is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, here's this, here's that. That's what people know. They can see that. Figure out what they can't see, what they don't know about the property. What do the HOAs cover if they don't live there? If they live there, they know this stuff. But if you're standing there, and sometimes, we get nervous when we're holding an open house, I absolutely admit that. And you don't know what to say to somebody. Who knows the acronym FORD?
Not on road day. First on race day.
FORD. Remember this. F stands for family, right? Do you have family around here? Where are you, right? But you can talk about family. O, what do you do for a living? Occupation, right? R, what do you like to do for fun? I love the desert because you know why? We're an hour and a half from the beach. We're an hour and a half from the river. You want to go up to Big Bear? It's about an hour and a half drive. We are so centrally located that no matter what somebody wants to do, we're about an hour and a half away. So it's a great location. D, dreams. Where would you like, if money were no object, where would you live? What kind of house would you have? You can start talking. So I always like to use the FORD acronym. If somebody walks in and I have no idea what to talk to this person about, we've already talked about the house. Now what do I do? FORD. And then that way you can start finding something that you might be able to connect with them and have that conversation about. But make sure that you are talking to people. Make sure you're standing and greeting them, and I know it's not easy to get their contact information, but I hope you're using our open house registration on the VAC. That thing is awesome, you know, with the little QR codes. They can register right from their own phone. They can click on the QR code and get the property flyer with your information on it. So it's very, very handy, and I strongly encourage you to use it. Maria is going to show us real quick here. Stats and numbers are not what I thought. Or fixed or repaired data. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So as some of us may remember, a lot of our forms were on the Sky Slope working documents and office documents section, and they have been moved. And so I'm going to let Maria here.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Actually,
I
they will.
haven't.
So you did good, great.
While we're waiting, do you know what the acronym stands for? Failure in automotive technology.
I thought it was fixed.
Again, Tony. Everyone says that one. I gotta be original.
Where in here? Let's try this. Okay, I'm gonna let you play. You go. You're gonna do, I was already signed in though.
Are you sure about that?
I know, isn't that weird? I don't know where it went. I'll let you sign in. Okay.
Oh, it's still in there.
Oh, good.
Can I switch you to agent?
Sure.
Is there gonna switch it?
Absolutely.
So the
Okay.
forms were moved. This- So the forms were moved from Sky Slope and working docs now to the VAC. This question came up this weekend, and I was trying to remember where it was. That's why I wasn't answering. But it's now, when you log in, obviously this is your VAC. You're gonna go down to Resources, Document Center. And right here where it says Corporate Info, you'll see Corporate Forms. And you'll start, and Brokerage. And then you'll start going through them, and you can start seeing all the addendums, all our affiliated forms. The one that came up that we were looking for was this one, Personal Property Sale Agreement, which I'm not gonna open it because.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Oh.
It just downloads it. And then I think you can search from the search bar too, correct?
It pulls them up, but it doesn't pull all of them
Okay,
for some reason.
so if we were to type personal property at the search bar.
That's what I was doing and I couldn't find it.
And it wasn't coming up? Person-
Oh, there we go.
there it is,
There's
personal
two,
property.
But I
Yeah.
believe they want the 2020. Now it's downloading it again.
Okay, it's all good. Cool.
But it's just all our BHHS forms that are in there. And if you ever lose the ABA for affiliated business, it's there too. But that one can be found in Sky Slope.
And make sure you're using the most recent one.
Going
Because it just was
forward,
updated again.
Going forward, they would like us to use the new one.
So if you have your template set up, just delete your old form, get rid of it, and then upload the new one and your templates will be updated. Thank you so very much. Okay, and then finally, if you haven't Googled yourself, please do. You need to know what the consumer is saying when they're looking for you or for a realtor. Go also to our BHHSCA Properties website and Google your name, or not Google, look, search for your name. I was going through it the other day, and I want you guys to understand, if you've been in buy side at all, you'll see that there are several 100,000 people in the website right now searching for properties, okay? And that's just in the last 90 days in California alone. The numbers are staggering and the analytics are all right there. So with that said, if they're all going to the Berkshire Hathaway website and they happen to click on your face, some of you don't even have a face. Some of you have the BHHS logo because you've not uploaded your picture. And so I'm telling you, let's be honest with ourselves. If you were a consumer and you were looking for somebody to help you purchase one of the most expensive assets you will ever purchase in your life, and somebody pops up with no bio, no face, no information because they haven't taken the time to do it, would you say, that's my person? No, you would keep looking, right? Why do that to yourself? Let's go in there and look at your profiles. We've got an amazing team here with Destiny and Maria and Imelda, and they're here to help you get your profile updated, get your systems moving forward. Let's take advantage of that, but really look at yourself, because I was going through the website the other day and I thought, oh my gosh, we have so many people without even pictures. So please make sure you've uploaded your pictures. Remember, you are your brand. You are your brand. If you don't think branding is important, look at McDonald's, look at Coca-Cola, look at Nike, look at Adidas, look at all these companies out there that have this brand. Look at Amazon. With just a smile, you know it's Amazon, right? You need to have your branding so people understand it's you. And that's step one in business. Who are you? What do you look like? And what is your brand? So if you're sitting here thinking, gosh, I really don't have that done, I would contact our marketing department, set some time, and really start focusing on getting that step out of the way and get it updated. So let me see if there's a question here. And since you mentioned it, stats and numbers are subject to interpretation. Yes, they are. And how they're presented here. Okay. Marketing, if you're not sure how to get a hold of them, it's marketing@bhhscaproperties.com, or here's the phone number, the 800 number you can call directly. Mason has been out sick, so if you've tried to get a hold of him and you haven't, that's why. You can get a hold of Maria and her team, however, and so if you have any questions, go ahead and reach out. Maria, do you have anything you wanted to talk about as well?
I am available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, to help you set up your templates on SkySlope or go over getting prepped for open house now that we're doing them all over again. It's a week-long process. You can't just prep for it on Friday.
No.
If you're gonna do Saturday, it starts Monday. You have to, like Gina said, you have to learn HOA, you have to learn your comps around it. If they're vacant, you have to go. So I'm available to help you. We do have Orange Coast bags for open house available. Destiny is now going to be in charge of ordering them, and I showed her how, and I showed her where we keep them. So we need the flyer holder, and they do give you open house registry, the paper, but I like the VAC app.
The VAC app is awesome.
So I'm here. If you need me, you can reach me, call Destiny, she'll transfer you over to me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Imelda.
Hello, team. Friendly reminder, the 10th, we have photos here in the office. I sent out the email where you have to book your appointment. She's going to be here from 9 until 4 p.m. And then also Legendary Escrow on the 15th from 11 to 12. They're going to have a workshop. And then also Karen, she's going to be doing American Home Show Lunch and Learn on the 22nd, I believe, from 11:30. And you need an RSVP for that. So she'll be bringing luncheon. So that's all we have.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and we have a lovely Destiny with us now. And you've got your thing. So everybody who has not met Destiny, this is Destiny.
Office, and I'm now here at the Indian Wells office. If you need help with anything, please reach out to me and I'd be happy to help.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Welcome. Glad you're here. Okay, and then today, Lunch and Learn with Prosperity Mortgage. And so yes, I don't groan. We're already scheduling the holiday celebrations. Yes, where's it? But here's the sad part. Half the places are booked already. So we have to jump on it. Actually, we're doing it a little bit different this year. Palm Springs is going to have theirs. We're going to have ours. So we need to figure out what we want to do. And we do have a budget for it. So we are going to today at 4 o'clock right here, have a holiday celebration committee meeting. If you're a party planner, if you want to say so, or if you want to put in your 2 cents and say, this is what I think our party should be like, please be here. We would love your input. We would love to put something really fantastic together. We've got some great ideas. Imelda and Maria came to me with some pretty fun ideas, and I can't wait to hear more about them. So definitely, if you want to be part of that, and I encourage you to be here at 4 o'clock today. I have to be out of the office tomorrow and Thursday. Unfortunately, I have a funeral to attend, and so I'm not going to be here. But if you haven't seen it already, Maria, who is also studying for her broker's license, is very, very, very well versed in contracts and real estate, and she knows her stuff. So if I'm not here, always reach out to Maria. She can answer your questions, and if she can't answer your questions, she knows how to track me down, or she'll know how to track Dwayne down. So you will be taken care of regardless. I just wanted to let you know that you do have help available even if Gina can't be here. And then Friday, Ann Keen Photography Day. Here's the URL. You can sign up. Normally her fees are triple that, but because she's my niece, she has agreed to do the photos for $100, and that's a phenomenal price. You can go to her website if you're not sure what her pictures look like, but she's a natural light photographer. So it'll be outside. They're beautiful shots, and get your RSVP done ASAP, especially if you're one of those with the BHHS logo for a face. I recommend you do this now. And then next Tuesday, June 14th, our office meeting will start at 10 a.m. and it's starting at 10 because Maria Hill is driving in from Orange County to do a listing presentation class for us. So she's going to be here doing a listing presentation. She's going to have some tools available with her. I strongly recommend you put that on your calendar and show up, because if Maria Hill is in the house, the energy will be blowing the roof off, and it'll be really a lot of fun. Yes, ma'am.
Will she have product with her, like the boxes?
I believe so. I believe so. Yes.
Tara brings some money.
Yeah, I'll tell her, bring boxes. Oh, those boxes though, they go quick. So if you're running low, make sure you get another order in, because it does take time to get there, get the boxes to us. Okay, let's see. Oh, escrow workshop on June 15th. They're going to be covering the escrow process, clouds on title, taxes in escrow, common red flags, and tips for closing escrow on time. So you want to be here for that. Tuesday, June 21st, our attorney, Darren Welsh, will be our special guest. He's appearing via Zoom from Las Vegas. And so definitely mark your calendar for that. He's going to be talking about new laws and what's getting you in trouble. So you want to be able to avoid that. And then, of course, June 21st is the Lunch and Learn. June 22nd, Rick Berube will be live in Indian Wells, and he is actually changing things up a bit. His topic is how to thrive in a changing real estate market. Do you think that's needed, huh? So he's going to be here from 9 to 3 p.m. Please sign up for that, because I will be probably bringing lunch in for that as well. And we'll want to make sure we have enough for everybody. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. Hey, Winston, are you still over there? Oh, sorry, he's on the phone. Prosperity Mortgage. Remember how fun we had for our wine and cheese party the other day?
Yes.
Yeah, we're doing another party. Yay! So, but this party is going to be held. Let me move this out of the way. At Don Diego's in Indian Wells, across the street. We're doing happy hour from 4 to 6 on June 22nd. You're all invited. And so, yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. It'll be a lot of fun. Mark your calendars now. I hope you all can make it, but it's just, let's just go and get together and have some fun and relax and, just enjoy life, because you're all working really hard, and we recognize that. Lisa, am I here to understand you can't make it that day?
I was going to change the date.
July 22nd.
Well, we will do one in July.
So once a month? Oh,
That's our goal. Anyway, I hope you can make it. It'll be a lot of fun. We need to have some fun. Okay, that's our motto here, right? Make money, have fun.
Yeah.
All right, and just for those of you who may not know,
We're supposed to make money at this?
you please, yes,
I'm
please.
doing it wrong.
Be on the lookout for phishing emails, guys. Always check the sender's email address. Sometimes they look legit, but they're not. What you have to know is I will never, ever, ever text you for gift cards. I will not do it. And so please If you get a text, always verify it's coming from my cell phone number. If it's not my 760-449-1248, it's not me. So block them, delete them, and then report fraud because they're using my name fraudulently and they should be reported to the FBI. So please report that fraud. You want to spend some time with me? I'm always in my office, and so, but if you wanted some scheduled time to really sit down and review maybe your business strategy, I always recommend at least once a year, you come in and we do a business review, where you are, what's working, what's not working, what we could be doing, because there's a lot of new things that come in, and I get them every single week because we're meeting with all 3 state managers who have, and the leadership who have just come off of meeting with national managers. So we're getting a lot of information. So if you're not sure if you're doing what you should be doing in your business, let's sit down and talk and really work out some strategies for you. You can always click on that link and do that. Are there any plugs and wants?
This is Jay Weidman. I just want to give a plug to Winston, and I know he's doing his little talk today. I was having a problem with my escrow lender with my buyer. I called Winston up, and within 24 hours, we had a better rate. They got on the phone with my buyers, happens to be my son, but he got on the phone, got all the data he needed, and we locked in a great rate all within 24 hours to save my escrow. Thank you, Winston.
Jay, I'm hearing some pretty awesome things. Winston, do you want to say hi to the team real quick?
Sure.
Okay. And thank you for putting on our party.
Oh.
We're really excited about that.
Well, thank you all. I really appreciate your receptiveness and support. It's been very much appreciated. Hopefully I'll see a lot of you today here at our Lunch and Learn, and even more maybe at our happy hour. On the
There you go. I bet we'll have a full house for that one.
If you need anything, just give me a call. I'm always available.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. And again,
Gina?
someone that would be awesome. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to stop.
Gina,
sharing so I
It's
can-
Diana Bernardi. I have a want or a need. I need a buyer for a property in on New York Avenue. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, built in 1976. It has solar power, solar panels. They will be paid off in escrow. Good friends of mine, they need to get this sold, and we're just not getting the showings that we need. So it's $487 is the list price right now. So we'd like to see some Berkshire agents come through and see it. I keep posting it for everybody, but it's just, I can't get something on paper for these people.
Hey, I'm thinking maybe we need to restart Caravan. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna start doing that again. I'll put it on the calendar. If you have a property you'd like to put on Caravan, please email it to me and we will we'll make it happen because it's the time, you know, we need to get these things sold and our sellers are expecting it. Thank you, Diana. We'll definitely put it on the show list. Okay, any other plugs or wants? No? All right, then we are going to be moving right along here, getting ready for the Prosperity Mortgage Lunch and Learn. Thank you all for being here this morning and participating. I appreciate you, and I am here if you need anything. Have a great day.
Thanks, Gina.